Alright, welcome back everyone. We are back with 30XX, which you know so that means we're just gonna go ahead and hop right in and just do a run. Well, I just got done playing with the new character, Delta. He was pretty cool. Very different. Oh yeah, I forgot this move has a air dodge thing. It goes through stuff, right? Yeah. Oh, this is gonna be fun to use. It does take energy though, I gotta remember that. But yeah, he was very fun, but excited to get back to the basics with Ace and figure out what to do with him. Double the invul frames. Ooh. I feel like that's a perfect thing to have with this weapon. It's like a perfect upgrade. But like I said with Delta, I'm excited to get back into this game. It's been a while since I played, so I definitely want to get back into this, get a little bit better at it, maybe actually complete a full run for once. We will see if that ever happens, because I definitely do get killed pretty quickly in this game. But yeah, mainly the main point of these 30XX videos are just kind of be kind of like, let me switch back to the saber for this. Mainly the main point of these 30XX videos is just to kind of just be like almost like a podcast video of sorts. I just feel like this is a really good game to just be able to, like, you know, sit down and just talk while playing. And one thing I want to talk about is something I've been seeing on Twitter recently a lot, or X, my bad. For any Elon Musk fans, I guess. People will get upset if you call it Twitter. And that is the release schedule of, like, shows nowadays. Basically what it's saying is, like, what do you prefer? Weekly? Like, episodes being released weekly, or episodes being released all at once? Like, basically the Netflix style. How Netflix basically does all their stuff. And I know a lot of people debate about it because they'll be like, oh, I like being able to see everything all at once. And then people are like, well, yeah, but if you see everything all at once, there's basically like no discussion or no lasting effect for the show. Ow. No lasting effect for the show because everyone just gets to watch it immediately and then it's just over. Like, you know, it doesn't last long in like public memory, which I think is a very valid I don't know if I want to say valid complaint, but it's a very valid criticism of it. And there's merits to both ends, right? Because, you know, like, there's sometimes you get that one show where it's like, it's got you by, it's gripping you by your soul. You just want to see what happens next. You want to know that very moment. You don't want to wait a week, which is why having charging up booster next attack 233. Let's do that. Which is why you don't want like a weekly release schedule. And then there's some people like, yeah, but having a weekly release schedule, there's always like that mystery, you know, like a really good example of it recently. Well, not recently, but just like a really good example of it, in my opinion, was WandaVision. You know, getting to see the mystery of that unveil every week, seeing a discussion about it. That was a really good time to be on Marvel Twitter. It was really fun, in my opinion, to be able to see everyone's thoughts and opinions, like every time the episode released, like, oh, what do you think's going on? Like, why is this happening? You know, like that stuff was cool to see. And we wouldn't have gotten that experience with a weekly, or not a weekly, but a full drop, because it would have just been the people who were able to binge it that same night would have just known immediately and probably spoiled it on Twitter, or, you know, the discussion would have only lasted about a week at most, and there wouldn't be, what was it? It's like, it was 9 episodes, so about like 2.5 months of discussions about WandaVision and stuff. So I would personally have to say, now, while I do get annoyed by weekly release schedules at times, because I do just want to keep watching my show, because it's like, damn, this show's really good, I just want to keep watching it, you know. And so, but unfortunately it's weekly, I gotta wait, you know. That does get annoying at times, especially because we've seen what it's like to have a non-weekly release schedule for stuff now with Netflix. So it's kind of like, it's a very much grass is greener on the other side type of thing, where like, yeah, sometimes you don't really care, but sometimes you're like, damn, I really wish this one show was weekly, or sometimes I wish this one show was a binge type show that you can just get through all in one night because they dropped everything. I do just think in the long haul, the best release format is weekly, just because it gives everyone a chance to really digest media and just actually enjoy it, rather than just kind of like, because I think it's fair to say that when you're binging something, there are moments where like you just don't really pay attention, or you just kind of like slop through it. Like, you know, you don't get a chance to like fully analyze or fully sit with something. Like, let's say there's a huge emotional moment. For example, like, sorry for the FF7 reference, but just because of all the FF7 Rebirth I've been playing, that's just the main one I can think of. So spoilers for OG FF7, you know, the PlayStation 1 copy. I'm going to be talking about that right now. So spoilers for that. If you don't want to know anything about OG FF7, and skip ahead like a minute. But in OG FF7, when Aerith died after Sephiroth stabbed her, imagine that like moment, but in like a weekly format. You have that week, and the episode ended right as she died. You get that week to just sit there and like feel the loss of Aerith, right? You get that moment to just be like, damn, that really happened, you know? Like, you have to sit there. You can't see what happens next. You have to sit there and accept the loss, just like the characters in the show do. They have to sit there and accept the loss. And so do you. You have to wait that week of knowing, like, holy crap, this happened, and now it's like, well, what's next? Well, fuck, I don't know. We don't know. And you have everyone on, like, Reddit, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Everyone's talking about the episode. Everyone's talking about their feelings and stuff. People are rewatching the episodes to analyze stuff. Like, you get all this time to, like, fully appreciate and fully, like, digest the episode and realize, like, oh, this and this is a reference to that. Oh, I noticed this upon a second rewatch. It's like, it's nice to have that time to really like sit there and stir with your emotions and kind of reflect on what happened. But you take that same moment, and let's say Disney Plus or Netflix released the entire FF7 TV show all at once on one night. You don't have to sit there and stir with it. You can just keep moving on, and there'll be some people who do that, and there'll be some people who don't, or can't watch it. Like, they have to watch the episodes night by night. They don't have the time to watch it all at once. And so a large part of like that feeling of being able to mourn the loss of Aerith, or kind of like just mourn that loss, just kind of goes away. You lose that effect, which I know some people might say, oh, it's not a big deal, but like, I feel like it's a huge part of just like media in general. It's like reflecting on your emotions or what it caused you. Because in my opinion, if you're watching something, it should incur some kind of emotion on you, whether it's a happy emotion, sad emotion. I don't believe in just watching something. Like, if you're just watching something to watch something or have background noise, I understand that. My phone just went off. Wow, wait, really professional. If you're watching something just for like background noise or something like that, I understand. But if you're watching a show because you want to watch the show, then it should be incurring some kind of emotion. It shouldn't have you just sitting there like, I'm just gonna look at my phone instead because I'm not really feeling anything. Like, you should be feeling happy to watch the show. You should be feeling sad. You should be feeling something, you know? That's what I'm just trying to say. Like, I find it weird to, there's some people who always get on to me because they'll be like, dude, you get way too into these shows. Like, I will be watching like a sitcom, and I'll still be like thinking about the characters and their like actions, or why they do stuff, or like why this happens, even though in a sitcom, like, that usually isn't the case. Like, you know, it's a very basic, or it's just trying to get like a comedic feeling out of you, so it's like you don't really need to be analyzing it like this. But I do it anyways because that's just how I enjoy watching shows, and I like being able to feel the emotions. Because then when you get that one random scene, whoa, these guys, that was big, some big fucking lasers. So when you do get to that random scene, because every sitcom has it, that one episode where they decided to get extremely real and have a very emotional storyline, it ends up hitting different for me because I try to connect to the characters. I try to feel like, okay, why do they do this? Like, you know, why do they feel this way? Why are they like this? And I try to put myself in their spot. That's just how I enjoy shows. And so I feel like with a full drop of episodic content, you don't really get the chance to in my opinion, the chance to do that isn't as much, because instead of getting that full week or 2 weeks, however long it takes for the next episode to come out, you can just say F that and just watch the next episode if you have the time, or if you just want to say F it and watch it anyways, you know? So that's why, in my opinion, even though I do get annoyed by it sometimes, because, dude, I don't want to wait a week or whatever, I think weekly format is the best way to watch TV shows. And I honestly think, like, the episodic, or, like, the full drop is cool and everything, but at the end of the day, not only are you not doing any favors to your watchers, in my opinion, you're also, as a company, you're kind of losing out a little bit as well, because now all that money you invested into the show is basically all dropped essentially on one night or one day, when it, like, depending on when you release it, rather than all that money or all that time you put into it being spread out over weeks, increasing the amount of time it's in the public's opinion or public eye. Because let's be honest, in the day and age of social media, stuff goes in and out. You know, like, something will be extremely popular for one day and then the next it's out of people's mind, you know, like, everyone just forgets about it. That's just how society is nowadays with social media. So when you just release stuff all at once like that, you're just kind of, Grand 60 armor, damn, you're just kind of diminishing its impact it can have on people, or just making sure that it's not going to stay in people's mind. Like, it'll be something people talk about and stuff, but, like, it being talked about weeks later or months later is only going to be from the fan base, or, like, the dedicated fan base it has, and not, like, the casual audience it could possibly gain, because the casual audience probably all watched it already, like, a few weeks ago, so they're not talking about it anymore. They've moved on to the next big thing, like Two Piece or something, I don't know, One Piece, Naruto Next Generations, or Bleach, that, or fucking Fallout 54. I don't know, I'm just naming random things at this point, and most of it's in video games or anime, because I'm basically playing an anime video game right now, but you get my point. Like, you know, people move on to the next thing. And if you keep it weekly, well, then you don't have to worry about that. But now the thing is, you gotta be careful with how you do it, because, like, there's the weekly format, and then there's also a new format that I've noticed companies have started doing, which is breaking stuff up into parts, which, like, that's been a thing for a while, you know, like, you have part 1 of a season, part 2 of a season. That's been a thing for a while. It's not something people have always noticed, but I feel like now it's a lot more. Now with social media, people notice it a lot more, where it's just like, oh, there's, like, a new part, or, like, they're only going to do 4 episodes, and then they're going to take a 2-month break and release the next 4 episodes. And recently, a show that did that got a lot of flack for it was, oh damn, Invincible season 2, which a lot of people have been waiting years for at this point, finally came out. Started back, the first half started back in, I want to say, October or November. They released 4 episodes, and then they took a 3-month break, because the last 4 episodes just came out over this past month. And a lot of people were upset about it, and it's very noticeable that the hype for the show also died down very much. Very much. The amount of people that were talking about Invincible compared to a few months ago is crazy. The way the show just kind of fell off is absolutely insane to me. And not like fell off, like, the show is still good from what I've seen. People were still happy with what happened, but, like, in the casual, damn, those are 2 nice upgrades. In the casual eye, it definitely just kind of escaped most people's viewpoint or stuff. Like, some people didn't even realize that part 2 started, I feel like, because the amount of marketing for part 2 was also a lot less than part 1, and I feel like it's because they didn't have the budget to market part 2, because they were just kind of hoping that the hype for part 1 would carry over and last for all those months that they were taking a break. And that was not the case, because part 2 of season 2 definitely kind of slipped under people's vision or viewpoint. I think I understand that like there's reasons why you have to take that break because they didn't have the episodes ready or whatever, and that's perfectly fine. But I feel like what they should have done is just delay the first half of the season so that way you could keep the momentum. Because like, let's say, for example, a series that did this recently that I think did it a lot better was, damn, that projectile immunity is huge. That did this a lot better recently was Jujutsu Kaisen. Now let me start off by saying this. The process, or like the production behind JJK Season 2 was an absolute garbage fest. MAPPA completely treated those animators wrong, and they definitely gotta figure that out, or figure out what they can do to not have those animators practically finishing stuff last minute like that. Let's get this straight. MAPPA should not be praised for the JJK Season 2 production. It definitely should have been delayed or have more people working on it. They needed to do something. What they could have done, I don't know. There's many different ways they could have done it, but they needed to do something. But one thing, in my opinion, that they did do right was how they separated the season, the first half of the season to the second half of the season. And that was, they did part 1, which was Hidden Inventory. They did like 5 episodes of that. And then they did part 2, and part 2 started about a month after. And I feel like a month is perfectly fine for like a small break between parts of a season. I feel like that's short enough a break to kind of still keep the hype going and not have to worry about losing all that momentum that the first half of the season caused. And that's something that Invincible should have done. But unfortunately, they decided to take a 4-month break or 3-month break, whichever amount it was. And yeah, that ended up backfiring on them. So, but JJK also had problems because they only had a month break, that the animators were basically working last minute on a bunch of episodes, and they really started catching up to them near the end. And so obviously that wasn't perfect. Maybe JJK should have taken a 4-month break. Or maybe what both series should have done is push back the release date until they have more stuff ready. But of course, you know, you have not marketing plans. Well, marketing would have already started, so of course that would be one reason. But like, you know, like plans for like investors and stuff, like we promised we'd have this out by this time and all that stuff. So like, there's obviously a bunch of other behind the scenes stuff that happens. But if you're gonna, basically what I was just trying to say is, if you're gonna take a break in the middle of a season, especially for a short season like Invincible, I really do feel like you should not be taking that big of a break. You should be trying to find a way to work with your production so that way they get the time they need. And this is a really awkward stage to get through right now. So they get the time they need to make the product they want, or product that should be delivered to the quality that needs to be held. Plus, also keep in mind how it works with the consumers. Because like, honestly, I know people will say, well, oh, Invincible starting so late, if they waited any longer to release season 2 would have hurt them. But I feel like they hurt more by doing that 4-month break for the season for 4 episodes than they would have if they just delayed the start to either prevent a break from happening or to have the break be shortened and not be so long. Let's see, I'm trying to think of another example of a show recently that's done 2 halves that did it pretty well. Spy Family season 1, they did a huge break. You know, they released in the spring season for the first half of season 1, and then the summer season passed, and then they did the second half of season 1 in the fall season. So they missed the whole season, which is about four months basically. And you might be thinking, well, that hurt them, and yes, it did. Let's be honest. The hype for Spy Family did die down a little bit, but it still worked out better for them because they had I mean, some people basically didn't even see it as a break and instead saw it as a whole new season. Which, if that works and gets them interested, then I think that's a win they take. Because then it's like they don't realize that, oh no, you're still watching the first season. It's just way to take a break. And instead of getting upset about that, they're just like, oh, new season of Spy Family. Wow, that came out quick. And I think that does help more. But another thing that really helped is the fact that it wasn't just 4 episodes. First half of season 1 of Spy Family was 13 or 12. It was either 13 or 12 episodes. And then they took a break. And then they came back with another 12 episodes at least for the first half for the second half of season 1. And I think that just makes it a lot easier for the consumer, especially the casual consumer, to like stomach that break, because it's like, oh, we actually got a decent bit of content and we're gonna get a lot more content as well once it comes back. And I think that just makes it easier for them to, like, you know, accept or understand that break. And I am gonna die here, it looks like. Hold on, I gotta lock in. But I guess overall, long story short, weekly format better than dropping everything all at once in one night. Because dropping everything all at once at one night kind of just ruins the hype. It kind of just makes you forget the show rather quickly, rather than giving you time to digest the show and everything that happens in it. Switch back to this so we can dash through, hopefully. Damn it! Ah, fuck. I had a feeling I was gonna die there. But yeah, that's basically all I gotta say about that. Let me know down below in the comments what you guys think. If you like weekly format better, if you like everything being dropped at once, and what you feel about it when shows take those breaks in between halves of seasons and stuff, and how you feel about that. I'm very excited to see what some people think, but overall, that's the right word I wanted to use. I don't know. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe for future videos. God bless, happy gaming, and I will see you all next time. Peace out.